Hi everyone, this is New Track Mathematics Videos, and be sure to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. Of course, we are going to give you exciting videos in mathematics that can get you started wherever you might find yourself. It's interesting to tell you that today we'll be looking at a very important topic in mathematics that has to do with what? With probability. And guess what? This is a question in the first part of part 2 of section A of your WAEC mathematics examination, and this question is going to be an interesting one. The question says, if two dice are thrown, what is the probability of obtaining a sum of 9, probability of getting a sum of 12? Guess what? This is going to be an interesting question because you're going to see the possibility of picking some numbers from throwing two dice. If you are ready, let's get started. Now, remember what a dice is. A dice, normally those who play games, you know, when we are young we play such games. You throw two dice, we play the game called Ludo, and we throw two dice in order to get two numbers that will count on the ladder. Now the question is, how do we go about solving this question? We have dice 1 and we have dice 2, and dice 1 is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Dice 2 is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Now the first thing we need to look at is to look at the possible outcome of throwing such dice, and then we are now looking at, we'll also look at the total outcome of throwing the two dice. Remember, we said we have what? Two dice. So we are going to take this part to be our dice what? Our dice 1, and this part is going to be our dice what? Our dice 2. Now let's assume we have dice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and what? 6. And dice 2 we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and what? And 6. We're going to rule a line to separate these two what? These two dice. Now guess what? If you are in an examination situation, you have to show these workings, and that's why I'm showing you this, because it appeared in the section A of your part B, which is the theory part, and if you are solving this, you have to show your working. Now we're going to look at how we are going to solve this question together. Now let's draw the table for the outcomes of drawing the two dice. Follow me as I solve these two questions. Now we are going to look at the outcome of solving these questions. Good. Now if you throw the first dice, there's possibility that you can have a 1 and a what? And a 1. Here is a possibility that you can have a 1 and a what? And a 2. Here we have the possibility of having a 1 and a what? And a 3, a 1 and a 4, a 1 and a 5, a 1 and a what? And a 6. You get this and this, this and this, this and this. So if we throw the two dice at a stretch, we can have a 1 and 1, we can have a 1 and 2, we can have a 1 and 3, and on and what? And on. Now if you throw this other part, we can have a 2 and a 1, we can have a 2 and a 2, we can have a 3 and a 3, we can have a what? We can have a 2 and a 3, we can have a 2 and a 4, we can have 2 and what? 5, we can have a 2 and what? And 6. Good. Here we can have a 3 and 1, we can have a 3 and 2, we can have a 3 and 3, we can have a 3 and what? And 4, we can have a 3 and 5, we can have a 3 and what? And 6. Here we can have a 4 and 1, we can have a 4 and 2, we can have a 4 and 3, we can have a 4 and and what? 4. We can have a 4 and what? 5. We can have a 4 and what? And 6. Here we can have a 5 and 1. Good. We can have a 5 and what? 2. We can have a 5 and what? 3. We can have a 5 and what? 4. We can have a 5 and what? 5. We can have a 5 and what? And 6. Here we can have a 6 and what? 1. We can have a 6 and 2. We can have a 6 and 3. We can have a 6 and what? 4. We can have a 6 and 5. And we can have a 6 and what? And 6. These are the possible outcomes you can get in throwing 2 dice at a stretch. Now the question is, what is the total outcome for such a probability? Now for you to get the total outcome, we are going to count the possible outcome that can come out in throwing these 2 dice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 6 will give us what? That will give us what? 30 what? 36. So the total possible outcome, the total outcome of throwing such dice is what? Is equal to what? 30 what? 36. That is done. Now remember the question. The question says we should what? We should find the probability of obtaining a sum of 9. Now wait a little and ask yourself, what 2 number can you bring together that can make up 9? Remember, they say the probability of getting a sum of 9. Now a sum of 9, 6 plus 3 will give us what? 9. That is 1. 4 plus 5 will give us what? 9. That is 2. 5 plus 4 will give us 9. That is 3. 6 plus 3 will give us what? That will give us what? 9. So how many numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have any other numbers you can add together that can give you 9? I want you to check it out yourself. Can you find any? Did I hear you say no? Very good. So we have just what? 1, 2, 3 and what? And 4 possible outcome. Now for we to get an answer to that question, the probability what? The probability of getting a sum of 9, that's the question we want to solve. A, we want to look at the probability P of what? Of getting a sum of what? Of 9. That will be equal to what? The possible outcome all over the what? The total was the total outcome. Now what is the possible outcome of getting a sum of 9? 1, 2, 3 and what? And 4. So that will be equal to what? 4 over, what's the total outcome of the whole probability? 36. So that will give us 4 over what? Over 36. Now if we reduce this further, what are we going to have? You have to reduce this further because this 2 will go here to give us 2. 2 here will give us 1. Take 1. 16 divided by 2, that will give us what? That will give us 8. So this will give us what? 2 over what? Over 18. So 2 will give us here 1, then 2 here will give us what? 9. So the result here will be 1 over what? 1 over 9. So the probability of getting a sum of 9 is what? 1 over 9. Now do you see how simple it is? Once you have drawn the outcome, the table to show the possible outcomes you can get from the probability of throwing 2 dice, then you can easily get whatever question you are required. Someone might ask you, what's the probability of getting a sum that is less than 4? That's the question you might most possibly. What are the probability of getting a sum of what? A sum that will be prime numbers. These are possible questions that can arouse from this what? From this table. Now let's look at the next question. The next question says, what's the probability of getting a sum of what? A sum of 12. The probability of getting a sum of 12. What's the probability of getting, the probability of what? Getting a sum of what? That will be equal to what? The possible outcome all over the what? The total outcome. So what's the probability of getting a sum of 12? What two numbers can you add together that can give us 12? This 6 plus 6 will give us what? 12. Do you notice that it is just 6 plus 6 that can give us 12? So that means the probability of getting a sum of 12 is the possible outcome, the required outcome all over what? The required outcome, which is the what? We call it the possible outcome or the required outcome all over the what? The total what? The total outcome. So the result will be what? 1 over what? 30 what? 36. And that will be the value, because the value of getting a sum of 12 is just what? 1. So when you throw the dice, the two dice, the possibility that you get a sum of 12 is when a 6 shows here and a 6 shows what? Shows here. Now do you see how simple it is solving a question like this? So whenever you are given any question on probability of two dice, make sure that you draw this table. It will make the solution very, very easy. In case you haven't subscribed to this channel, on this channel we'll give you the best of mathematics, especially on examinations you'll be taking, WAEC, GCE and many other examinations. Typical questions like this will be solved. So in case you have not subscribed to this channel, I want you to hit the subscribe button now. Look forward to seeing you watch our next videos.